What's good, Commanders family? This is the Next Man Up podcast, and we have some great guests on for you. We have our guard who just got the bag. Sam Cosmi joins the show to talk about this season and how building chemistry has been with this new look team. Then things get real with our guy, Super Bowl champion Brian Mitchell. We talk about the things that motivate him to be great, and it is such a great conversation. All that now on Next Man Up. Commanders family, welcome into the Next Man Up podcast. I'm your host, Brian Colbert Jr., here with a very special guest, our guard, Sam Cosmi. Man, I should be calling you Bagman right now, man. It's crazy because last time I seen you, it was last season. The season was just starting, I think, the last time we talked, right?
No, it was towards the end of the season.
Towards the end of the season, man.
If you look at that, like, my beard was... like out here.
Oh, so you remember?
Yeah. I looked rough.
Nah, man. No, the beard, man. I feel like that's a look you gotta have when you're like a big brolic
Well,
dude.
I didn't cut it the whole season.
What was that for? Why not?
It was playing good, and I just didn't cut it. It was just kind of like superstitious.
Okay.
thing. I haven't cut my hair either since then too. So, yeah.
Is that the only ongoing superstition you have right now?
Yeah. The hair. Yeah, for sure.
If it makes you feel any better, I haven't cut my hair in like 12, 13 years. So we on the same page, man. Well, I brought that up because, man, since the last time we spoke, you got you some little money, man. You got you a nice bag.
Yeah.
And to me, I want to bring that up, not to count your pockets, but you got that right before the season started. So much had changed. New ownership, new coaching staff. You were one of the last men standing from last season. How great was that to get that vote of confidence from a new coaching staff, a new front office, before you even hit the field for a regular season game?
Yeah, you know, they went back and watched my tape as they did with everybody else. You know, they said early on that they saw something and they really enjoyed what they saw on tape, and so you know, they wanted to do something, and you know, through training camp and through all that, I still proved myself each and every day. You know, that was a process of its own, and you know, just gave them confidence and showing them who I really was, and you know, honored and privileged that they were able to make me one of the first guys to extend, or the first guy to extend under this regime, and super thankful.
And you're such a driven and hungry guy. Now that you got the money, is that even extra motivation now to just go out there and give it everything you got?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it kind of takes a little bit of a weight off my shoulder, and like, I could play free. Like, I was playing free, but like, there's still that like thing in the back of your head. Like, I'm working towards something now. I just get to let it all go, you know?
Yeah.
And it's been fun. These past 3 games have been really, really fun. And, you know, I've just been able to just play carefree. And that's the best way I play football, is kind of, you know, not having to worry about that and just go out there and play football.
Laying your head down and letting it hang. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For sure.
And you're such a humble and like down to earth guy. Have you had like one of those crazy first bag purchases yet? Like, have you done anything to where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna splurge on myself just a little bit?
I haven't done anything for me, but when I first got here, I bought a home. I grew out of it real quick with 2 dogs and a baby, and my wife. I mean, I'm 6'6", she's 6'3".
Wow.
Our clothes are very big.
Good for y'all,
we
man.
have a very small closet right now, so I got a new spot. That was one of the first things that I wanted to do, was just be comfortable.
Yeah.
But nothing necessarily for me yet. So maybe something, I don't know. We'll see.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me at all. But congratulations on the new crib, man. I know you love your family so much, and that's a big part of your life. So let's just get into a little bit of football, man, because before we move any further, we got to talk about Monday Night Football. What a game.
Yeah.
You guys showed so much, and I feel like you guys answered a lot of questions, man. How great was that moment to be able to go out there and perform on the biggest stage?
Yeah, you know, kind of going into that game, we were very prepared. And we knew offensively we had to fire on all cylinders, just because of the week before. We shot ourselves in the foot a couple times, especially in the red zone. If we didn't do that, that game could have turned out completely different in a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, we still won the game, but it wouldn't have been as close. And so being able to go back and clean those things up and be able to do it the next week was really cool to see. Like, hey, we knew, we went in, we sat down, we're like, hey, these are the things we need to do, blah, 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 blah. You know, obviously eliminate the penalties. And we were on the same, we were just working as one. It was really cool to see. I was probably one of the first games I've ever been a part of where I'm like, I don't think anything they can do can stop us right now.
Wow.
You know, we were just in sync. And so it was really cool to be a part of, especially in the like in the jungle and doing all that versus, you know, everybody's the crowd and everything like that going against you, and being able to shut them up and do that. I mean, that was just so cool to do. And
everybody's counting you out, right? You have those moments where, you know, people, you know, you have nothing to lose out there. Yep. What is that moment when you say, like you said your guys are hitting on all cylinders? Was it a particular play? Was it just something you felt when you wake up? Like, how did you know that it was going to be something special that day?
I think off the first drive.
Wow.
You know, we were able to move down the field pretty well, that first drive. And then, you know, honestly, like I said, kind of going back for the week before, we were able to move down the field really easily in the aspect of just getting down to the red zone. We weren't able to capitalize, but, you know, we have a lot of weapons. Jaden is a tremendous young quarterback. I'm happy everybody can kind of see that now. I mean, we all knew that, but you know, being able to see him take control of the offense as well, and his confidence back there really just seeps into everybody else on that offense. You know, QB is the highest paid position in the league for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people say they get the keys to the team essentially, and that's for a reason. You know, because they are a big part of how far your team can go. Mm-hmm. You know. And with having him back there and with having him have his confidence, his swagger, doing his thing, like I said, it seeped into everybody else. We felt that. And, yeah, it was like I said, we did something special.
Yeah, so, man, it was definitely something special, man. Yep. It was so great to see. And it's not an easy thing to do. Like, I don't think people realize, I guess there's a lot of excitement going on. This is a new look offensive line. There's a lot of things you guys got to build chemistry. New center, new guard, rookie tackle. How has it been building that camaraderie with these new guys? Because again, like you said, it seems like you guys kind of clicked right away.
Yeah, I mean, we're like the same guys. It's like taking a cloth and just making smaller pieces. We fit in really well together, and you know, really humble guys, really hardworking guys, easy to talk to when it comes to over communicating. Smart guys, smart line. We always say it's like we're all, when there's a play or something like that, we kind of all like something's messed up. We kind of, our antennas, all of us, boom, you know, it's not like just one guy, you know, it's like, it's kind of cool to see just how in tune we are all on that O-line. So we're all trying to be five guys working as one.
Yeah, and then with a rookie, I'm sure it's a little tougher because they haven't had to do this before, right? They're learning from your guys and your guys' example. Brandon Coleman had a heck of a game.
Yep.
How great is it to see him develop so quickly and get comfortable with you guys?
Yeah, you know, he's a quieter guy, but as being a rookie, that's where you need to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, he's starting to let his personality out a little bit more, but he's a hardworking guy. Just, you know, he listens to us. He's very smart, very in tune, and, you know, has a really good foundation, has a lot of good tools in his belt, technically. And, you know, props off to him for having a great game. And, you know, I think everybody's able to see that. And I'm excited. I mean, he could be really, really good. Really good.
And you guys are going up, iron sharpens iron, right? And you guys are going up against a new look defensive line. You got a couple returning people, but a lot of different people as well. You're going up against them training camp, so you could talk about it.
Yep.
Who's been the toughest person to guard so far? Through training camp, through practice, who's been the toughest person to block?
I mean, I primarily go against Payne.
Yeah.
So me and Payne always have a lot of battles. I mean, he gives me great looks. I give him great looks. Every rep's a battle with me and him. So I don't really go against anybody else in a sense. It's just me and Duran majority of the time.
I'm sure that makes an interesting relationship between you two.
Training camps, it's not like training camps. We don't really talk to each other. We kind of know just once we're in a team setting, and the season is just more relaxed in that aspect. But it's a constant battle between us.
B-Rob and Austin Eckler getting so much love. Do you take pride in that as a lineman when your running backs are getting that recognition and getting these plays? Does that kind of like a little badge that you wear?
The thing I love about those two is, they understand the aspect of like showing love to their own line, and we kind of go based off each other. However good he's doing is kind of like how good we're doing type of thing. So we got two guys back there we know are really special and can make big plays, and so like that just makes us want to block even harder for those guys to do that. And two really good guys, and like I said, love ball, run really hard, and takes multiple guys to take them down. So we have a really good relationship, and we know what we want to do for those guys, and vice versa. So it's from QB, wide receivers, running back to us. Like it's all like gelling, and I love it.
We love that, man. We can't wait to see you guys this Sunday. So last question, what can fans expect to see when y'all take on the Arizona Cardinals?
Yeah, I mean, we've been training and preparing all week. I think we're going to bring some of that stuff from Monday to Sunday, and just keep riding on that. And so, I think you're going to see an explosive offense again. And when it comes to defensively and everything like that, I mean, they've been on top of their thing too. So I'm excited to see what we could do on Sunday. I think we're still working on things and doing that, but we have the right guys, the right coaches to make things happen.
Hey, Sam, man, we can't wait to see it, man. Thank you so much for your time, man. We know you're a busy man. As you can tell, it's late out here. We are burning the midnight oil, but this is what it's all about, Sam. Thank you so much, Commanders family. This is your next man up, Sam Cosmi.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother. Now, Commanders family, we're going to go a little earlier in the day. We're in the dark right now. We're going to go a little earlier in the day when we caught up with Super Bowl champion Brian Mitchell. For this next man up, it's a legend. The pride of Louisiana. Played quarterback, honestly played every position in the book. Holds the record for most punt return yards, most kick return yards, most total yards. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a broadcaster. You hear him on the radio. I could go all day about this brother. My guy, Brian Mitchell.
What up, B?
Appreciate you being on here, man.
Oh, no problem, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. And so, we talk X's and O's a lot.
Yeah.
Post-game, pre-game. We not here to do that. I got to talk to you about the man behind the helmet because, man, like, I work with you all the time, bro. And, like, I feel like the thing that made us bond real quickly is just our love, not only for what we do in broadcast, but our love for the game of football. Yeah. So my first question has to be, where did you get your love of the game of football?
I grew up I'm the youngest of 7 kids, and my street was one way in, one way out, and it was all relatives. And, I've always played with people that were older than me. And then when I started to finally find my little way, they were 5, 6, 4 years older than I was. And, my dad one day watched us play I had like a 2-acre lot on the side of my house, and we were playing, and he was like, man, you're kind of good at this thing. He said, all those guys are older than you. And he said, man, y'all, if you score a touchdown today, I'm going to cook for y'all. My dad was a chef.
Yeah.
And my dad did a spread for us, and he said, I'm really doing this for my son, my baby son, because I was handling it, and I just loved it. But he instilled in me in the early age, like, you can play sports if you have your grades, and he talked about that student athlete thing, and it just made me I loved it so much because I was able to level the playing field with guys that were bigger and older. But also, I saw as I got a little older, it made me realize this can take me somewhere. And I put all my effort I could into it.
When was that moment when you realized, like, oh, I can do something with this football thing?
Well, when I got into ninth grade, and I was at Plaquemine Junior High School, 8th and 9th grade, and the senior high school across town, 10th, 11th, 12th. I was the starting quarterback for the 11th, 12th grade team. They had to take me over, and it made me at that point realize that I could play this game with them, And the thing about it, like just like we're watching our quarterback right now, Jaden, a young guy who came in and he put so much work into it that nobody was giving him a problem about being young. They were giving him respect and credit from being a worker. And in the 9th grade, I was that guy. Because I've always had to work. I'm 5.5 years younger than my brother next to me. And I used to want to be with him everywhere. And the things I did around him, I had to do a little bit more to keep up. And when I got into the 9th grade, I was ready to go. And the guys realized that and they saw it. And then, the rest is history because I already knew if I didn't have a 3.0 or better, it wasn't 2.0 in my house. 3.0 or better, I wasn't going to play football. And then what it did, it made me become, I love sports. But it made me also become a better student as well because my dad was like, look, dude, if you could do that, you could definitely do the easy thing because nobody's trying to hit you in the classroom.
And you are so athletic. You did so many things. I think you told me the other day on pregame that you had played offensive lineman at one point. So what makes you realize, okay, I want to be a quarterback? When you have rushing ability, when you can catch, you can do all these things, what made you stick to quarterback at that point?
I didn't want to be the quarterback.
Oh.
The coach said, I'm going to be quarterback. Because when I was in the 6th grade, I was a center. And then midway through, they moved me to running back. And they're like, man, you faster than everybody on the team. Because it was a 130-pound league. I was 7.5, 130 pounds. I wasn't fat. I was just big at that size. And then as I moved up, so I get to 8th grade, I'm a running back. And every time we had to throw a deep pass, we threw a halfback pass. He said, you know what, I'm going to just move you to quarterback. And he moved me to quarterback in the 8th grade. In the 9th grade, boom, I'm doing what I told you earlier. And I just kept playing it. I played it all the way through college. And then I began to look at it in a way like I realized early, I'm like, I'm not going to be that tall. I'm probably not going to play quarterback in the league. But I can run the football at quarterback because they're going to look at the quarterback every snap. I'm going to touch the ball every snap. And I just looked at it like that. I'm going to go out there, show them I have the ability to pass the football, but I'm going to be durable. I'm going to run the football, and it worked.
It's funny, I talked to Doug Williams about this, about how much the league has changed. You see all these black quarterbacks in the league, but when you were playing, especially in college, that was a rarity, especially for being an athletic black man. Was it tough being a black quarterback in the South?
No, it wasn't. I had seen Doug come through, so that was part of the reason I wanted to play, watching Warren Moon do the things he did. But my coach, Don Jones, a white guy, he came to me and said, that guy over there at 8th, 9th grade, tell him to report to the varsity field. We want him to play over here. And Coach Jones basically, people wouldn't believe this, but you hear they question guys today about being able to call their own plays and things of that nature. I played that 9th grade year. Then my 10th grade year, he said, I need you to really learn the offense. I said, what do you mean? Remember Willie Satellite Totten and the Mississippi Valley? Yeah. That's where Jerry Rice went. He said, we're going to do that. I'm like, what you mean, coach? I said, they don't go huddle up. He said, yeah, exactly. So in the 10th grade, I went from the sideline to the football, and I called the plays, starting in the 10th grade. So if he had that much confidence in me, why do I give a damn what the other people say? You got people in the stands saying what my son should be playing, this, that, and the other. No, he shouldn't be. He can't play. He sucks. He's on the bench. And coach put me out there. And one thing I've been a guy where this is what I think. God gave me talent. My thank you to God is take my talent as far as I can. My daddy always believed in me. My thank you is to make sure I go out there and make him proud. Coach Jones decided that I was the guy. So I want to prove that he made the right decision. I went to college, Nelson Stokely. He said, you our guy, So why would I go out there and do nothing but try to make him seem like he made the right decision? And then when I got drafted, I didn't play punt return ever in my life, kick return ever in my life. But the fact that Joe Gibbs and Wayne Sevier thought I can do it, become good at it, and say thank you to them by making sure that everyone believed that they made the right decision. That's just the way I live it.
Was it tough in that moment, though? Because you're a college quarterback. You're a very successful college quarterback. Mm-hmm. You said that maybe you didn't have the height to play quarterback, but was it a hard transition knowing that, okay, I'm going to have to give this position up and try something else in the NFL?
I ran the ball 114 times my freshman year, probably 180 the next year, right around 200 my junior year, and like 230 my senior year. I scored 5, 9, 15, 19 touchdowns. I knew those numbers like that were going to be looked at as a runner. And I had no problem with it. No problem at all. Because I tell people this, my dream wasn't to play quarterback. My dream was to play in the NFL. If I wanted to play quarterback, I was offered a $1 million guaranteed contract for 3 years. That was more than what I signed in the NFL my first 2 years. But I ended up making more money after those first 3 years because we did win a Super Bowl. I won a lot of damn incentives. But I could have gone to Canada. The Saskatchewan Roughriders had my rights. And I could have gone to Canada if I wanted to play quarterback. Mm-hmm. But my dreams were never CFL. It was always NFL. You know, and my family got a chance to see me play in the NFL. My dad passed away right after my rookie season, you know. And then I was able to go on to the Super Bowl. My mom and all of them saw that. And my sister would always say, you know, I wish Daddy was here to see it. I said, he sees it.
Yeah.
He lives through me. You know, that's the whole thing about it. And I get teary-eyed. My dad was my dude. But I knew when that man told me I was a Mitchell, I can do anything, and I began to live by that, I was going to do whatever the hell I wanted to do.
Man, that's so cool, man. The way that our parents impact us, especially our fathers, and you could tell you got a lot of love for your dad.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And when did you know? Because you had all these people that believed in you. You had these coaches that believed in you. You had your father that believed in you. When you get out there in this new position, when did you know I can do something with this return thing? Like I'm special at this.
Well, God has this great sense of humor because like I told the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I'm going to try the NFL. If this new thing don't work out, I'm coming to Canada. And I forgot the exact date, but it's August 1990. We're in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, playing against the Atlanta Falcons. First kickoff, I catch it, touchdown. At that moment, I guess if I was doubting myself, the man upstairs gave me a message that you can handle this, dude. And then I come off the field, and Wayne Severe said, you haven't done a damn thing yet. You don't kick off coverage, and you better be on the tackle. Okay. I was on the tackle. But I love, like these coaches, and they used to come at me about stuff. They did nothing my daddy didn't do. My dad was a military guy. You know, I grew up that way. You know, it's hot as hell out here today, but if my pops was here, I probably would have been up by 5:30 outside feeding out chickens and ducks, cows, all that stuff we had. I was on the farm. I did everything I had to do. Because if I wanted to play football, I had to take care of all that stuff early. You know, and I did it. So I knew at that moment for sure that the new position would work. And then I had guys on my team, Joe Howard Johnson, Walter Stanley, guys who took a big interest in me and helped teach me the game of return. Mel Gray, who played for the Detroit Lions, helped teach me the game of the return. So I got to the point where Mel and I had a conversation. We said, look, this position has been just a throwaway position forever. Let's make it sexy. Let's make people have to get it done. And I would like to believe that I had something to do with Devin Hester coming along. Mel had something to do with Devin Hester because we were so good at it, teams had to go look for something like us.
Mention your father, you losing him your rookie year. What was the last game he saw you play?
Oh, man. He wasn't at the game. He saw the playoff game. We had a playoff game on TV, and he saw that. But I'm going to go back. And this to show you how tough my dad was. My dad had a heart attack around December of my rookie season. And I go home thinking I'm going to be there, be comfort for him. And I walk in the hospital. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? I said, man, you had a heart attack. I'm coming to check on you. He said, boy, you better get back and do your job before somebody take your job. He said, where am I at? I said, you're in the hospital. He said, I'm where the people can help me. You can't help me. Go back and do your job. And that mindset stuck with me, dude. because I saw it in him while I was growing up. And when I got to the league, you start to question things a little bit when little things go bad. And when that happened later, I'm like, I can't complain about nothing else. So he saw me after in a game. He was probably in the hospital when he saw me then. And then he ended up passing away in February. So, but he left me with something. I can tell you that.
He left you with a lot, man. And you can tell just by the way, like hearing you talk is so funny, like how similar our fathers were and growing up like that. So I really appreciate you sharing that. And then he got to see you win a Super Bowl. He got to watch you from above win a Super Bowl, man. How special was that moment knowing that all the hard work you and your dad laid out comes to this moment and you here now winning a Super Bowl?
Oh, it was great, man, because when we get there, we stayed in a little nice hotel area, but we were close to everybody. But the night before the game, Coach Gibbs took us out into this. All I saw was snow for days. And then all of a sudden, boom, a hotel popped up. I'm like, ooh, we're going to get some quiet time here. And when those things happen, I always found myself thinking. And I just sat there and went through my whole life. Like the times that I was in the yard running around, when I told you he cooked, when I had a game in college, I think I had 271 yards rushing, 205 yards passing. And I walk off the field like I was the stuff. I was it. And that dude told me, you should have had over 300 rushing, over 300 passing, but you wanted to showboat instead of that. And he was able to tell me the exact plays. And for people out there may think, oh, he was too hard. No, he wasn't hard on me. He knew me.
Yeah.
And then I had a game where I had about 120 yards total. He said, you couldn't have got nothing else out of that game. And I didn't believe him. And when I got to the film, my coach said the exact thing my dad said. So he was the one that when I started to get too high on myself, he knew how to constructively make me realize I could have done better. And when I thought I was not good enough, he was able to constructively let me know that, dog, you couldn't have got nothing else out of that. And everyone says, my whole family, all my brothers and stuff, they don't have the cowlick. They don't have the round head. I have a round head like my dad. They all took after my mom. It's weird. My oldest sister has the same round head, and then I have it, the beginning and the end. Yeah. The rest of them in between got my mama head. So we always say we got big brains or we got big heads.
It's funny, your grandson looks just like you too. He has the round head too. You mentioned Devin Hester.
Yep.
And you mentioned you feel like maybe, like you're doing it humbly. I feel like maybe I'm one of the guys that changed the game. Well, Devin Hester on his Hall of Fame speech said it. He said, guys like Brian Mitchell changed the game for me. Being revered like that by somebody, that's his moment. That's Devin Hester's moment. That's his Hall of Fame moment. And he shouted you out. How did that feel?
That felt great. I talked to so many people about the Hall of Fame, and my whole thing is, my resume is done. I can't do nothing else on it. So either I am or I'm not. You know what I mean? And when a guy like Devin on his moment takes that chance, and shout out myself and Josh Cribbs, there's a lot of other guys out there. Like you heard me just talk about Mel Gray.
Yep.
Mel Gray really got me going. And Mike Nelms, when I sat there and learned everything I could about returning, I watched Mike Nelms. But the ultimate thing is when a guy takes that time, you're humble. I am a person who totally believes in myself, but I never, ever just go past someone taking their time to say thank you or put you out there, because not everybody does that. And especially on their moment. So it made me feel terrific. And I would always say that, I remember Gail Sayers, is a little card, and it says, Brian Mitchell could have played in our day. Gail Sayers. And I was like, well, Gail Sayers said that to hell with these voters. And then now Devin going into the hall, he says it.
Yes.
I feel that makes me arrive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that may not be good enough for some people around me, but I've had enough people say it. When I played football games, they kicked away from me. I was with the Eagles, whatever, I was let go. But John Gruden said we were worried about one person, Brian, they kick the first off, I go 75. They squib kick the rest of the day. That shows you that what people try to say you weren't, that coach thought I was. He got ready for 3 phases. He was worried about me.
Should Brian Mitchell be in the Hall of Fame?
Hell yeah. Because all the things that are being finally reached or broken, you think about it. When you look at the record books, they're breaking my stuff. I know a lot of people return and things like that, but when I left this game, I was at the top of almost everything special teams wise.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, I went down and I tackled people. I was able to play quarterback. I was very effective at running back, but you know what? The coaches said I was more important as a returner. So my thing is, but when you look at the actual return stuff, I left in charge of all of that. And a lot of them still sit, and a lot of them won't ever be broken.
Well, and this is somebody that never returned a kick in his life.
Not till I got to the league.
That is wild.
When you start paying me, boy, I got to be good at it.
He said, listen, I got to keep this bag coming in. And now you look at the game now, it's different again.
Yeah.
The returns are so much different now. What would Brian Mitchell do in today's NFL?
I would have to be acting just like the young buck wearing number 30 right now. I would be returning them on him. Listen, man, you remember you and I had a conversation before the season started, preseason I think it was, and in training camp. I say it's going to take running back types.
Yes, you did.
To be good at this, because right now it looks more like an offensive play, running through the line. The first touchdown this year was DJ Dallas.
Yes.
Running back. Then Austin, and they called it back, but then he had a big one again against Cincinnati because they hit the line full speed. Receivers, defensive backs that return, they hit the line of scrimmage and they worry about the big people.
Yeah.
They start to stutter. And then when you stuttering, you're allowing people to run to you. When you hit and go, people don't like it, they say. I would love it. Because I'm going to tell you, I have 23,330. I might have 28,330 if I ran through that stuff right there. You don't have no momentum to come and hit me? Please.
Barbecue chicken.
I'm about to give you a damn headache. I'm serious. Because I use this thing, and I wore the biggest shoulder pads on running back aware, and I did not mind sharing them with people.
And you mentioned number 30, watching Austin Eckler do that. Mm-hmm. And somebody like you, of course, like, we talked about this too. I was actually surprised your jersey wasn't retired, just all the things you had done. But I feel like you take pride in seeing that number 30 out there, especially when guys out there balling.
I take pride when someone plays well in it. Because we've had some guys in number 30 that I kind of felt that they were just trying to shun me. But the ultimate thing, I remember when Austin got the number, and I would say, finally I could be proud.
Yes.
And people were like, well, man, he didn't play well last year. I said, look, man, that dude had injuries last year. Now you find out he had 2 high ankle sprains. I watched him play. See, this is the difference between me and a lot of other guys. I look at the league, and I look for guys that are someone that you may not think, or someone that probably came from, he wasn't drafted. He was late. A guy that went to a smaller school.
Yeah.
I pull for those guys, you know. People that are a little small, like Tanner. I was always a fan of Tanner before he came to Washington. But when you see Austin, and I used to watch how much he lived and the work he put into it, and then you look at the level of success he had, you have no choice but to respect that dude. And then when he came here, I'm like, oh, cool. And I had some guy on social media tell me, well, it wasn't your number. I say, I don't care if my number or not. I have a right to feel comfortable or not with somebody wearing it. When I see somebody put it on and they don't make plays, and that don't make you feel good, you know, because people don't understand when you get a number and you're good at it, it becomes a part of you. So you always want to see it elevated. And I think Austin elevates it like hell. And it ain't got nothing to do with me. It's because that's who he is. You know, you got to love guys like that. Man, squat over 600, I did that. Bench over 400, did that. You know, I love seeing that type of thing. And you know why I started doing it? Because Barry Sanders did it in college.
And this isn't lip service because when we're watching these games, B. Mitch, when number 30 has the ball, he's balling, B. Mitch is excited and so happy. And it's so interesting to me, like when I talk to all the legends, because you would play for multiple teams, like a lot of the guys, like London Fletcher, right? Yep. But you chose to make this home. Yep. You chose to stick around because you could have went back to where you're from, right? What made you decide to stick around here and stay close to the burgundy and gold?
Well, I think when I got my chance, it was here in Washington. And the fans always loved me. They didn't want me to go anywhere. But like when you cut your teeth and you become a man somewhere, that's where you establish yourself. Like success has always been, you don't go become something and then just go back and go back to what you were. You go somewhere, establish yourself, and then your people come visit you. And Washington gave me that opportunity. You know, and I just say this. When I went to Philly, people say what they want about Philly fans, but you know what those fans said? Yeah, man, if you would go in the Hall of Fame, you deserve to go in as Washington. You were there longer. You see, and they understand it. And I went back to Washington. You know why I went back to Washington? Because the love I got there from people that didn't know me, but they saw me grow up. And when I left, they didn't want to see me leave. And I left because I was kicked out the door. But I watched people with tears in their eyes when I was leaving. Grown men don't cry for no dude.
But that kind of love meant a lot.
That meant a lot to me. So.
And then you make another transition. We talk about all these transitions you make from offensive lineman to quarterback, from quarterback to returner and doing everything else. And then you make a transition into media. And you've been doing this a very long time as well. What made you make that transition and was it tough?
Well, when I first started, I saw somebody on TV saying what they would or would not do. And I got pissed off because I'm like, of course you wouldn't. You're not an athlete. And I started to look for an opportunity. And I just remember I was invited to a WHUR event. I went there, and the lady Jeanette Tice happened to tell me that they were looking for someone to do a 3 to 5 minute sports talk on Monday and Friday. Monday to say that you all do what you want, and then Friday, this is what we're planning to do. And I was like, I'll do it. Because it gave me a chance to have a voice. Because when you look back in 1990, wasn't a ton of athletes really in the media. There was a few of them, but not a ton. And then 5 weeks into that, WTEM, which is the station I was working with, they're now. They offered me a Monday Night Football show. And a little bit later, and Channel 9 rolled in, I started doing like a TV thing on Sunday nights after I got back from the games on road trips, that we got back early, and after home games. And the toughest thing was everyone thought that I was going to allow someone to make me say something I didn't want to say, and it was going to cause friction in the locker room. I'm not that stupid. So what I would do after a game, the guy that played well, the guy that didn't play well, I asked them what they were thinking, what was going through their minds. So when I got to the thing the next day, you know the question I'm going to be asked. Oh, man, so-and-so didn't have a game. What you think? Well, I talked to him after the game. This is what he said. And then I could build off of what he said. But I don't mind voicing my opinions when I have to. And I talked to James Brown and Donnie Simpson, two good friends of mine. James Brown said, don't change anything about yourself. Just know what you're talking about. And Donnie Simpson was like, yo, man. I said, Donnie, what should I change? He said, just hone in on your skills. Be you. I could be that. And I just kept being myself. And, you know, I learned that in life, everybody's not going to like you. But one thing I get constantly, I don't always agree with you, man, but you always say what you truly believe. That's all I care about hearing. You don't have to believe in everything I say, but give me the respect that I am willing to voice my opinions, even if we don't agree, or if you don't like it. But you give me the level of respect because I'm going to say what I believe. I'm not going to say what you believe.
And it's been nice seeing you be a broadcaster because you put in all that work I've heard about you on the football field. I feel like you put that work into your broadcasting. And the way we were raised, our fathers, man, they raised us to have that mentality where, yeah, this is good, but it's not good enough, right? Yeah, this is good, but I could do more. Yep. Yeah, this is good, but I could do better. So you've accomplished all these things, man. You won your Super Bowl. You made it to the NFL. You're an accomplished broadcaster. Have you been able to shake that? Or do you still carry that, this is good, but I can do better?
Oh no. That's gonna be there, be with me the rest of my life. You know, when you get kids, you know, I wanted to be great for my son, but I could be better for the next. And I had 3 daughters after that, so I want to be great for them. And then now I got grandkids, and that's the best job I ever had in my life, man. Father and grandfather. But what you do, you always want to improve it, because like my dad told me, he said, you make sure my grandkids' lives are easier than yours was. So I had to tell my kids the same thing. And if we can build that type of culture in our family, we can always have somebody looking up instead of having a phase where people aren't doing good. So I try to keep pushing that.
And be, you know, I lost my father as well. And I think a lot of times about what our conversation will be when I see him again, and what we'll talk about and what he'll say to me. What do you think your father say to you when you guys finally get to have that conversation?
He would probably say, job well done, but he'll find one thing to say, well, you could have done this a little bit better. Yeah. And I would probably bust out laughing, because I know it. I know what he'll tell me, because as he always said, I don't ever want you to get complacent. I'm always going to be trying to push you. And I push you because I love you. And that saying sticks with you. You know, people do things sometimes out of spite or whatever else, but when someone is doing something out of love, you just accept it and move on. Because I also know that love is the thing that pushed me and guided me to get to where I am and what all the things I accomplished, because I knew that dude believed in me, and he pushed me and made sure everywhere I needed to be, or what I needed to have something or to accomplish it, I had it, no matter what. You know, so I wouldn't worry about that. But I know he'll be like, you did good, man. But
and it's great to hear the way that your father mentored you and these coaches as well. And now you do that as well. You stay close to the facility. You see these guys. You're looking at this team now. You've seen a lot of burgundy and gold teams, but this is a little different. Talk about what you're seeing right now and why there's so much new energy around the building.
Well, this team went through years where it was like down. And I tell people over and over again, no matter what people say, we don't listen to the outside. We don't worry about this. Well, that's not us. You can't help it. The way media is today, no matter what negativity is around, it's going to get to you. And things subconsciously affect people. And now when you look at this thing, it looks like nothing but newness. A lot of energy is here because what Josh and Mitch and Magic and all these guys bring in. A lot of energy is here because of how Dan Quinn and Adam Peters are working this thing. And then when you look at it, you have a veteran players like, Wagner, who probably is going into the Hall of Fame, but is a worker.
Yes.
You have guys on this team, young guys, okay? I'm going to give Austin another one, because he's a guy who's going to probably do some unbelievable thing. But then you have a young guy who's coming in here to lead this thing, who has the mindset of a veteran old player.
Yes.
I want to work, I want to get better, and I'm not satisfied with anything. And if I've always said this, if the star of your team, Tom Brady, Alex Ovechkin, Michael Jordan, if those guys are working the hardest, nobody else has an excuse. Nobody has an excuse. So Jaden Daniel rolls in, Heisman Trophy winner, second pick in the first round, comes into your team, whether he thought or whatever, he's the face of your franchise. And people say he's in there at 5-something in the morning. He's last to leave.
Yep.
And then you look on what happens. You got another little guy, Mikey Sarenstill. He starts doing it. He's basically doing stuff on the defensive side that young guys don't normally do. And then here we go, Luke McCaffrey. He shows up every time Jaden's there. There's going to be more people. So if the whole mindset of the team is to put the work in, you're going to have success. So, and I think the players see it. Now the fans are starting to get a little bit of what we get a chance to see at practice and things of that nature. And you get to see what the players are talking about. Look, a rookie season is going to go like this. But we've already seen in 3 games that this kid's special. And I think, when you put the work into things, you get great things out. And I think he's done what he needed to do. So let's sit back and relax. And Get the popcorn ready.
Get the popcorn ready. So many things to be excited about with the burgundy and gold. And, B. Mitch, I just want to say thank you, man, because you laid the groundwork for a lot of us. Even in this broadcast thing, man, you've been an OG to me and you done helped me out a lot. So, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your candidness, brother. And, yeah, man, appreciate you jumping on the show.
All right,
let's get about it this heat.
Appreciate you.
Commanders family, thanks for watching Next Man Up. You can stream it wherever you get your podcast or find it on the Commanders YouTube page every Friday. Until next time, Commanders family, I'm Brian Colbert Jr., and this is Next Man Up.